I think you have to hit the OK button.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
The
Hello, everyone. Cheers. Hello, everyone.
cheers.
Welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson, and I am here with lovely Jana. And Jana is a psychic medium, medical intuitive, and channeler who I actually met as a student, but immediately it became obvious to me that she's really sophisticated in her work. So Jana and I decided to get together and sort of show you what a channeling session, learning to channel session would be like, although she doesn't need to learn much. And we also thought it would be really great to talk to her guides because they have a lot of valuable information for us. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you so much, Dave. I so appreciate it. Your energy is wonderful, fabulous, and marvelous.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Right, we are both raring to go, so we're just going to go ahead and go now. Again, for Jana, she doesn't necessarily need all of these methods because she's worked for a long time. But these are methods that I am willing to share with anyone. Anyone that would like to learn how to channel can do this. Obviously, the first thing we want to do is do this safely, and by doing this safely, we always use love. The other thing you always use is your heart. Trust your heart. Okay. Just like when you meet somebody at a party and you're like, I'm not so sure about that guy. I think I'll go get a drink. Trust your heart in this business. You meet and encounter something you're not so sure about, just doesn't feel comfortable. Just say, not today, and move on, just as if you were at a party and you met somebody unpleasant. So, Jana, I would like you to get started, put a pyramid over your head. Many people are familiar with this process, but we're going to go a little deeper this time. If you put this pyramid over your head, it's going to enclose your whole body right under your feet. And the pyramid that you have above your head, I'd like you to put in anything that looks like love. So, love that you've shown for another person could be a best friend's love, could be love that somebody in your family gave to you, anything that looks like love, right? It might even be a spiritual type of love if you wish. Anything that looks like love. And I literally want you, Jana, to put that up in that pyramid. And when I say this, Jana, does your pyramid have a particular color?
It is just the magnificent reality of the color that it is, the deep sandstone look. Mhm.
Good. And just by the way, many people will have different colors for their pyramids. One is not better than the other. I just like people to recognize, right, what that pyramid looks like. So, Jana, if you can just lower that pyramid so that it surrounds you, it goes under your feet, and obviously you're in the middle of it, right? And this is our first step to creating a pyramid of safety and love. Now, Jana, we would like to add some other helpers. Can you think of anyone who has passed to the other side, who truly showed love for you, who loved you? Anybody, when I say that, just show up. I'm ready to go.
The one that's showing up is spiritual family, is Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
Jesus, wow. Okay, good. Now, for just people out there, generally speaking, for a regular person, I would say start a little bit smaller because we want to be clear here. And if you know that person who has passed to the other side, it's just a little bit certain. Jana here is very experienced. So she's going to start right at the top, right? And that's fine. He's here. Again, if that works for you, fine. You might want to try in the beginning just of the more familiar person. So we're just making an exception here with Jana, and it's a perfectly reasonable exception to make. But do consider if it's your first time, somebody you knew who has passed. And other than Jesus, do we need anybody else in this pyramid?
um, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael. Those are present at this time.
Good. Okay. So, Jana, here you are in the middle of your pyramid. Where does Jesus stand? in regard to you?
I am in the pyramid, safely ensconced, and Christ presence is standing in front of me,
Okay.
and the angels are standing one on each side.
Okay, good. And now, since I am directing you here, I'm going to ask this question, Jana. May I join, enter your pyramid?
Absolutely, please.
Thanks very much. I'm very honored to be here with these beautiful spiritual beings. Just to let you know, this is a confirmation. The fact that Jana has accepted me and let me in is just to let every spirit know the only thing that gets into this pyramid is that which Jana says can come in. All dark forces are dismissed. They may not enter. Only the highest good may enter. Only that which is compatible with Jana may enter. And we're going to help her just in case something comes up that isn't exactly certain, right? So I'm going to enter the pyramid and I'm going to stand behind Jana. I am going to sort of link arms with these beautiful characters. I'm really quite honored here. I feel quite I feel quite irrelevant compared to these three. But that's
Me too.
yeah, yeah. You are in the middle. Beautiful. Okay, great. Now, just for one more piece of certainty, we do want to stay grounded, right? So when you're going off into space and channeling, you also want something to ground you. And so to ground you, I would like you, Jana, to picture from your waist down, going into the earth, another pyramid. And that is pointing downward. So if we were to look at it, we might see something like a Jewish star or a Merkaba, right? Not exactly,
Correct.
but yeah. So that crystal that's going into the earth, feel your feet and feel the energy from your feet going down through the crystal and going down through the earth. If you were to try this on the 32nd building, 32nd floor of a building, that's okay too. Just imagine your energy going all the way down through to the earth. Again, this will keep us grounded. All right. And so, Jenna, now we're ready to go. And I'm just going to put you on a sort of meditation as we rise closer to spirit, right? And you don't really need to answer, Jenna. I just like you to think of these moments, right? Just for a very quick moment. So, Jenna, I'd like you to go back to the time when you were 50 years old and just consider when you were 50 and see yourself perhaps at 50 and ask the question, what was my life's journey? What was my goal? What was my soul learning? Now, there's no criticism here. If Jana is to go back to 50, she's not allowed to go, oh, I made that mistake. I did that wrong. No, whatever mistakes you made is just something that you learned from, right? Don't dwell on that. It's really about the whole learning at 50 years old. You might see yourself dressed in the way that you dressed at 50 or something like this. You might hear one word, learning, studying, teaching, becoming a parent, all of those things might be true. And now, Janet, go to 40 and just see yourself for a moment at 40. Right. I will fast forward this a little bit again because Janet is very experienced, right? Let's go to 30. See yourself at 30. Who were you? What was my soul journey? What was I learning? Good. And now let's go to 20. See yourself at 20. Who was I? What was I learning? How was I becoming me? What was the soul's journey? And now let's go to 10. See yourself at 10. Who was I? What was I becoming? And don't forget, people think a 10-year-old isn't very smart. But the truth is that 10-year-olds are very intelligent. They're putting together a very complex world. They're very open-minded. They're learning a lot. So do respect that 10-year-old that you see. And then we want to see yourself at 5. Who was I? What was I becoming? right? Again, 5 years, very intelligent. They're putting together school and home life and boys and girls and bullies and my role and all those things. They're learning, 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 and we want you to see yourself becoming. Sometimes useful to remember, oh, what did I really learn then? What did I learn when I was that age? You might think of it that way. And now let's go to the day that you were born. And sometimes people can see themselves being born, they can remember. It doesn't matter, you can always just imagine this. I often, when I'm leading people, get a feeling about how the birth went, right? So if that is what's useful for you, go ahead, see the feeling, right? And then we were going to go a step beyond to the time before you were born. And so, Jen, I'd like you to go to the time before you were born out in space. There's a big party going on for Jana. Everybody's congratulating you. Here you are, bravely going and being reborn on this planet. It is very brave of you. And they're all there encouraging you like a boxer at a match, like a bon voyage party, but also an encouragement party. Everybody there is full of light and they love you. They're characters from past lives, guides, spirits, everything. You name it. Good. So from this party, Jana, I would like you to picture a doorway. This will be the doorway into the spirit world. The doorway may be wood or metal or glass, it does not matter. But it is through this doorway that we're going to meet your spirit guide. Jana, does a doorway appear before you?
Yes.
What does it look like?
Oh, it's a beautiful, ornate, wooden, old, wooden, but impressive,
Mhm.
kind of rounded at the top and then down into the rectangle. It's more, it has some ornateness to it.
Good.
But it's warmth.
Mhm.
It's a receiving, because it's feeling, wood and warmth, and so it feels good.
Good one. Okay. Now, Jana's just gone beyond my next question. When I have a client, I always ask them, how do you feel about that door? And I'll just tell you, it's not a problem for Jana. She already knows the answer. She already feels in her heart that it feels warm. But I have to tell you, some of my clients, they don't like that doorway so much. And I kind of have the same feeling. I don't like it. So just for the sake of clients, if you ever get to this doorway and you're looking at it and you are feeling okay or not so good about it, just push it aside. It's not the doorway for you. In a way, it's just a trick to get you to bring the energy forward again, till you get a doorway that you want to go through. I would say don't ever go through the doorway if you feel okay or ambiguous about it. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just not going to be very helpful. It's a distraction. Since Jana feels good about the store and I'm feeling good about the store because I'm channeling too, I think it's okay that we go through it. But I'm going to remind you, Jana, we are totally protected here. We've got some really good allies here that really know what they are doing. And if there's any problem, we just back right out of there and maybe we'll try another door or we come back another time. Always trust the heart. It will tell you whether it's good or bad, and we'll show you some more examples of the heart in action. So, Jana, you ready to go through?
Yes.
All right, let's go through. Tell me what you see on the other side.
First, it's very lush and lots of green. At first, I can't see a long way in front of me. It feels safe and welcoming, but so lush that it's not like you can see a great distance in front. And then I'm aware of a waterfall. So there is water in the area, but I can hear the sound of it, but it's pleasant. It's not It's not scary like the Niagara Falls.
Okay, good, good.
So, so it's like
Mhm,
just this, again, welcoming.
mhm.
And then I see colors coming in sort of, I've never seen them in this lifetime personally, but in my sight, I see um, the what would be called the Northern Lights, sort
Ah,
of. Um, so there's all of this also in the atmosphere and
mm,
the colors to see. But again, it's calming rather than alarming. So I feel okay to 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 see this.
good. Okay. Now, one of the things, everybody, I want you to notice how well Janet is using her heart. She's gonna listen to that heart and trust what she sees and make sure everything is okay. Always trust your feelings in this work. In school we learned a lot about math and logic and these rules and everything, and that's all great. But nobody really taught us the logic of the heart, right? And it's one reason
Mm.
why women are often better at this than men, because men are not good at the heart. I was not. I had to learn to be good at the heart. It took a long time. So, but she's trusting her heart. This place that she sees is that sort of safe place. Anybody who does quantum healing, this is sort of the happy place, the safe place. And we always tell people, if you're stressed out, you see this place. If you feel stressed at all, just go here. You don't need to do anything. You can just rest and relax, right? Let's float on through in our pyramid. And as we float in this pyramid, Jana, I'd like you to come upon a river. And as you get to this river, you look down at the water drops of the river, and you realize that each drop of water is really a star. And this is
Mm.
a river of stars.
Mm.
I'd like you to cross that river and tell me if you meet a guide on the other side.
Okay. Well, I'm in the middle. I got caught up in the middle because I'm really interested in all the stars. Rather than walking on water, I'm walking on stars. um, AKA water, but
Yeah.
very exciting, very lovely detail. And I just want to say also from my heart that I appreciate how you're leading this and how you comfort me as we're doing this. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And so I'm coming closer to the bank,
Mhm.
and I'm sensing a little bit of resistance from my analytical mind. We always want to that always wants to bop in, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
analyze everything, fix it all up. But I'm just reminding that aspect of myself. That's okay. The analytical part is very needed, but not right now. I ask that it would calmly step aside and join me in the background. And so that I want to just let this unfold.
Great.
So, all right. Okay.
Does a guide appear?
Yes, I see. Interesting. I see a vision of a woman's body, beautiful,
Mhm.
strong, great strength. There's a hound and a stag with her.
Ah,
I'm feeling that this is the goddess, the Greek goddess eh, Artemis, who in the Roman goddess would be Diana, but
mhm,
Greek goddess Artemis.
mhm,
And
mhm.
I haven't really tried to see her before in
Okay,
this way. So thank you for that.
sure. This
Yes.
is this is also a very interesting portion of the work. So now, Jana again is very experienced, so she doesn't necessarily need me to help her do this. But if you're trying this and you're relatively new, the first thing that we need to go to, and this is what I would ask my new clients, when you see this lady, um, does she give you a name? Now she's kind of given you a name already, but if you ask her, does she respond to the names that you've given, Diana or Artemis?
Yes, that is correct. She is confirming Artemis.
Artemis.
And yes, yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Always polite to ask, for me to ask, number one. And number two, I'd just be honest, I'm doing a little bit of testing. Some
Sure.
imposters show up. It is not impossible for people, and they're not really evil, they're just distracting you. But they do show up. So we're going to ask the next question. Can Artemis show you something? And please apologize to her for my skepticism and for my questions. I don't mean to be so critical, but I really must make sure that she is from the light and she's here to help Jana. Can she show you something that lets us know she comes from the light?
All right. Interesting, wonderful, good, important question. Um, yes, and she says that as well, not at all offended.
Yeah.
She shows me how the light travels through her from the higher consciousness through her and then goes down into the earth as we did to ground, and then also back up again.
Wow.
So she's showing me that she is of the light, she is grounded in the light, but she's also showing me something I haven't seen before, but it's a very interesting, she's kind of cupping, there's a sort of a I want to say a necklace of sorts, and there is a sorry, I'm not getting the name, but there's a like a carving, or actually it's a stone with, again, sort of ornate, but she's holding it in her hand, cupping it, but there's also a around her neck, but she's stepping closer to me and showing it to me. And within that clear stone, it has kind of a nice sort of blue and seafoam green sort of colors. And she's showing me the universe
Wow.
inside this, that is reflected, or I guess held in an aspect in this object that she's wearing. So I don't want to degrade it by saying it's just a necklace. It's more than that, but it's a power. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm stopping at this word. Maybe that's a different word that I'm not familiar with, but it is a power source, let's say.
Yeah.
But it is made of materials that we are aware of, crystalline, that sort of thing, stone, and so on. And so, and I'm asking her too, as I stand there, and I'm thanking her, and so excited to meet her in this manner.
Yeah.
I ask her about, can she connect me for, deeper, in this moment. And she has she has a bow, the famous sculpture of her, the bow, and she just taps it on the ground, the bend of the bow, just taps it on the ground. And then she's directing me to look at the stag, this incredibly beautiful, majestic stag standing next to her, and also the hound, very beautiful as well, and just sort of indicating to me that I live here now on the earth. So she's kind of showing me this is the earth and tapping that, but also we are at this point in more of like an astral plane. So she's kind of guaranteeing me that that we are safe, and that um and she kind of has a sense of humor. She goes, well, I'm the real deal. But but she says it's so important to go through this process and um and get these confirmations.
Good.
Very important.
Oh, good. Okay. So, Jana, again, is very good at this process. When you ask her to show you something, it doesn't have to be quite as amazing as what Jana has seen. And that's normal. When people are doing this the first time, they'll get a glimpse of the ring they lost in New York in 1956, or they will see something very, like something very simple, or sometimes they will see the light, just a ball of light. You don't have to be as incredible as Jana. She's just getting served this because she's very good at this work. Now, I just do want to make a point, as Artemis is. If you ever get to this place and you say, can I have your name? And will you show me something that lets us know you're from the light? If they don't do those two things, don't do that. You're going to move on. There's something else you're supposed to know. I would just gently ask such characters if they could kindly step aside. Sometimes those characters will move you to another character. But if they don't give you a name, and if they don't show you something that is from the light, they're not the ones that you need to work with. Again, they are maybe messengers and you can ask. But if they don't answer, if they're silent, then ask for someone else to show up, right? And if it doesn't work out, just come back and try it again on another day. Never work with a spirit that won't show you something from the light, because dark forces, they can't do it, right? You notice Donald Trump, he never makes a joke that's like equal, where everybody's laughing equally. It's always to put someone down, right? Dark forces are similar. They don't know what love looks like. So a spirit that shows you something from the light is from the light. They must be. Terrific, Jana. I feel very, very intrigued and comfortable with this. And you've kind of,
Good.
questions come to me when I'm leading people like this. They just sort of come to me about what's important to ask. And you've answered the first question, which is, am I being too strict here? And maybe she can tell me, am I being too strict here? What do you think?
Strict in what sense?
In the sense of being like, okay, they need to show me something from the light.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, my goodness. No, the answer they're giving is, this is so important.
Okay.
And you're not coming from a place of fear. We don't want to promote that. You're just coming from a place of reassuring
Mhm.
everyone on every level, wherever they're at, that this is an idea of how to make sure you're safe,
Right.
to call in those safety measures, because there is light and dark, there's yin and yang.
Mhm.
It exists, and we want to then come from this place, and it's important for you, Dave, and reassuring to Jana, me as well, to know that we are following these steps. Very important.
Yeah, and it's up to us, the humans, to channel. So we're the ones that are channeling. So it's not just anyone that shows up, we start channeling. We get to choose, right? And that might sound kind of arrogant, but it is very important. We don't want to start channeling things that are just kind of okay. We need to channel stuff that comes from the light. So can we know then, what should a client do if a person's doing this on their own and they get to something that doesn't answer, or doesn't give a name, it doesn't show us the light? What does that mean?
Okay, good question. All right, what they would like for that, in that situation, would be to pause a moment, know that you personally, as the seer, will again look at the light around you, the white light, the silver light, whatever, the safety lights, the gossamer feelings, whatever. And you let the other entity have that moment of quietness. But what you're saying quietly, um, in body form, is just saying, I've said my question, I need your answer, but I'm respectfully waiting. And in that, you can feel what kind of a person or what kind of an entity is going to step forward. You will be able to immediately tell whether they're going to like dance a jig or do some sort of flash thing, as opposed to someone who will just answer the question. So that is important. I would just say pause for a moment, check in with your heart, as Dave says, check in with your feelings, and then if they don't answer, then just say, I ask that this entity may leave if they are not ready to answer. So you're not really judging that entity. It's just that you're setting your boundaries.
Good. Yeah. And again, you do not need to fight with these forces. Do not be afraid. Just gently ask them, look, either speak or move along. There are other spirits to channel, right? And sometimes they do this just to kind of get you to practice, just to get you to know,
Sure.
be in the right
Sure.
tune, because you must be discerning in this work. Good. So, gosh, I have so many questions to ask Artemis, but I think it's really important to ask about the state of the Earth, right? What does she think that maybe I want to put this on a reality? What is the state of the Earth? And number two, what can we do about it?
Okay. Yes, this is indeed an extremely important, and it has been, and it continues to be. It's not just what we would entitle climate change.
Mm,
It is involving, as Dave has so aptly said many times thus far, is love.
mm,
Love really is the end all be all. And so there is, the earth literally physically feels the non-love, the non-caring, the abuse of the planet, the abuse of the air. And I'm also hearing animals are also, and also fish and bird, fowl in the air. They're all working with us as humans to
mm,
help and regulate this. And it's not in good condition because those things have been lacking. Human to human has been abusive. Human to earth has been abusive. Human to animals has been abusive. We have the opportunity now, and it's critical, is what I'm hearing, that this is now the time to look deep into what we all can do in this context, because we do feel helpless sometimes. We're not the dump truck dumping all the stuff into the river behind the scenes, just because we didn't get caught this time, those types of errors. But again, if you come from a place of love, maybe you might say, well, do we want, and I'm just going to put this out there. This is what's coming. I'm not judging it, and I'm not suggesting it's anything anyone has to do. But let's just say maybe like in India, for instance, the cow is sacred. So, maybe we would say, well, we use a lot of land to have cattle grazing. Is that the most efficient thing? Should we grow more food on those lands and eat less meat, and it's not neither good nor bad. If you look at our teeth, we're kind of a omnivore, we have our canines, and we have our grinders. So that's not, we're not talking about diet, but it's just love. If we come from love, and do we see the trees that are hungry for attention, for water, for even just to go up and talk to them, and maybe do it quietly so people aren't worried about you.
Right.
But just being at one with the essence of the earth. And I'm sorry for going on so long.
Oh, it's wonderful stuff. It's wonderful stuff you've told us. Yeah, because for all the individuals, you and me included, it's really hard for us to take on these huge tasks of saving the planet. If we're able just to go, well, hey, let's just step back. We don't have to become a vegan. Let's step back
Mhm.
and see, am I engaging in what I'm eating with love? Am I respecting
Mm,
it? Am I treating
mm.
animals in general with love? So that's a really useful thing for Artemis to tell us. Um, could Artemis maybe tell us about our political times? These are very stressful times. What could Artemis tell us about that?
Okay. All right. First of all, to thank everyone for enduring
Mhm.
all of this stress, and just to know that those on the other side of the curtain, where we are channeling from at this point, um, so admire your gutsiness and your ability to hold, to stand firm in these very, very trying times. You get hit with this counterproductive player, DT, and you get hit with this very aggressive virus, all at the same time.
Mm.
So everyone is at a difficult point, even though we're getting a few breathing points. But just to point out that the politics have not kept up with the level that is for our highest good.
Mm.
Meaning on both sides, regardless of what your inclination is to be when you go to vote, um, it's not one or the other. It's just we miss the point of working together,
Mm.
and we're so split right now. That's what's hard right now, is to bring us back together. And it's difficult because there are great pushes, great organizational efforts to keep us split, great investments
Mm.
in reality, in dark money, in uh, disinformation, in communications, all of that. There's a great effort to split us wide open.
Mhm.
So we would agree that the democracy that we're trying to hold, like they said back in the day, what do we have? And the first time that we voted, and said we have a republic if we can keep it.
Mhm.
So we're lending all this energy and to base it in love for yourselves and for each other, and to continue to stand strong against these waves of injustice, ignorance,
Mhm.
extreme judgment, maladaptive behavior. It just goes on and on.
Mhm.
And we're in that time almost like you see a tsunami coming towards you, but you're still on dry land, and so you're saying, okay, will that miss me? So there is some alarm, but just know that we are safe as long as we continue to come from love, from standing strong, standing firm in that love for humankind and for animals, for the earth, for the universe, and always ask for the highest good to be done, not our will, not anybody else's will, but the highest good. I see that it's still going to be lots of conflict. We move really slowly here on the earth. We notice that the earth plane, with judicial systems, with what's going on, what's coming, it takes a long time to even bring somebody to the table.
Yeah.
There's such resistance. So we just, and no one wants to hear right now, oh, well, think positive. It's like, that's so very difficult. And we understand that. We understand how difficult that is. And so we are providing you with help and with love to be firm and strong in your convictions, to do the highest good in all things from each person who stands here and is at the sound of our voices this night, to take that and stand firm in that, knowing that if we stand in love and we stand in true peace and desire for harmony, it will come about. It's not that we can't really see it right now.
So, could you ask Artemis, what should people do? We're here, we're trying to stand strong, but just, is there anything that we can do to remain focused on the goal of love? Is there anything that we can do to sort of mitigate the feelings of distress?
Okay. Yes, isn't that so much of it? We all ask on earth, how can I just get through the day sometimes?
Yes.
How can I just do the common things that I do every day? And yes, so here's something that is coming. If you find yourself in a great deal of stress, alarm, and we all have been there, it's nothing to discount, and don't judge yourself, it is real. But what is very helpful and very simple is to, even for just 5 or 10 minutes, just immediately go quiet within yourself. Obviously when you're not driving, but someplace that's safe. Go quiet within yourself and notice your breathing. Just focus on your breath. You're not going to be like, you don't have to be a guru, you don't have to be a yogi, but just focus on your breath so that you can get to that calm place, and just for 5 or 10 minutes. And if you can do that maybe once a day or even more, however you feel comfortable, that will at least get you to a place where you can get to sort things out a bit. Then whatever your proclivity is for, either, it could be meditation, could be prayer, could be sending light, whatever you can do from your own higher self, from yourself, there sitting in that moment, just send love and hopefulness out. And then people may be listening and say, well, that sounds so passive, and it is very passive, but it's also very powerful and it does work. And of course, you follow it up with real 3D things like educating yourself, obviously voting, get involved in your city's city council, or even just writing a letter to the newspaper, or it's not so much that you want to have to tell all your opinion on everything. It's just, how can we be of help? How can we move this along? Maybe, so acknowledging the community, and be involved in whatever level you're able to be involved in. That will make you feel you have more power, because right now there's so many of us that feel powerless as humans here.
Great, thanks so much. So I think this will probably be the last question here. How is it that some people follow a dark way? What's going on that they don't act in love? Is it a choice or is it their destiny? How could we understand people who are kind of going in a more aggressive and violent direction?
That is a very many-fold question, and an important one and a good one. On one hand, there are those entities that we would call dark entities, that simply exist to incarnate here, to show the darkness, and it seems that it would seem, if they're truly dark, they just go right back into utero and come back in again to be that darkness. And it's again finding the balance. I guess if we didn't see the darkness and these dark entities doing these horrific things, we wouldn't be able to identify the light.
Right.
So there are those who are truly dark and will not ascend after their passing from the earth plane. They just remain in that. And there are those who do dark things, but maybe aren't completely dark. And they maybe are in a lesson time. They may take another's life, or they may beat somebody, or they, whatever, or bad politics, or lying, and so on. So many things. That person could perhaps, if not become more aware and awakened on this earth plane, they would have a chance in the levels after their passing, where they could go on and learn more and grow spiritually. There is an awareness, though, that on the other side, there isn't this horrific push like there is on earth, with the gravity against this dark and light. That's why we grow and learn so fast here. On the other side, it's pretty peaceful, and maybe you won't have the motivation to grow. You may stay over there for 1,000 years because you're having a party.
Right.
It's just everyone has their path, but there are those people who are not completely dark and are able to be focused more on the higher path and become that. And that's why it's important to give people, let's say, chances, but we would then use the former person that was acting as president, that entity has been given lots and lots and lots of chances, lots of people believing in him, and still choosing the darkness.
Yeah.
This entity will not progress on this earth plane.
Mhm.
So it's hard to say, and we don't say that with judgment. We're just seeing the reality of it.
Mhm.
And it could be on either side, any party, any, but it's important. David used a word earlier, discernment. This is very important word, extremely important.
Mhm.
Think of it always. Be discerning in everything you do and feel.
Mhm.
It's so important so that you don't get taken in by darkness or dark entities or manipulated or any of those things, because they're very good at what they do. And
Mhm.
we're in a place right now with the disinformation that is going on that has us all confused here. Well, what is the truth? Well, I'm reading this, in the newspaper, or I'm watching this on a trusted news channel. I've really researched my sources and I'm getting the highest source I can find. But really, what is the truth? It's caused us all to doubt. But
Mhm.
let's take that doubt and then learn and educate ourselves to be more discerning. What is the truth? What is this person in front of us saying? What is this person in front of us indicating? Which path? And to think for yourself. Critical thinking is so important. Critical thinking is a must.
Great. Okay. Well, these are beautiful words, really, really useful information. So I'm going to ask you, Jenna, to thank Artemis for being here today, for all her wonderful work. Is there any last bit of information, last bit of advice she would like to share?
In the coming times, know that you are completely and ultimately, magnificently loved and adored and looked after and protected, even though some days it doesn't feel that way.
Mm.
Know that that is there for you. Also, use all of these things we've talked about, the quieting of the mind, the discernment, love, the love bombing, and uh, be in those things. But we will continue to be tried, but it feels like there is a positivity coming that we will be able to actually see, hear, feel, taste,
Mm.
um, that it is coming. Don't lose hope, because what do they say? It's the darkest before the dawn, it's the eye of the storm, that sort of thing.
Mm.
So we, our dawn is coming. Um, it's not all negative, and try to embrace that higher vibration of thinking, feeling, and doing, so that you don't get and stay down in those trenches where sometimes we find ourselves on a daily basis. Because there is more light coming in. Know this is true. This is not some um, I don't have the word, but like far out hippie thing. I'm coming from my experience in the 60s. But there is a higher plane we are ascending. We are doing it. We're helping each other ascend. We're trying not to leave anyone behind. And go with that, trust that, and come from your highest self. Calm your mind and ask yourself, am I doing this? Am I feeling this moment? Just check in. That's all. And just know that you are doing the highest good you can each and every day. Value yourself. Know that the world would not be the same if you were not here. Each and every one of you hearing our voices on this night, that you are all valued. You are all important. You are all needed at this time. And with that, we can proceed into this light and embrace it.
Fantastic.
So be it.
So be it. Thank you so much, Artemis. So, Jana, I just want you to thank Artemis and let her know you'll be back. I also want to thank her, but you should definitely thank her. Let her know you'll be back and talk to her. And as we sort of take our leave in our pyramid, we're going to turn toward the river of stars that we crossed. And as we get to that river, be sure to turn back and wave again to Artemis and again say thank you and let her know you'll be back. Y'all notice that when she's asking for bits of advice, she's asking a little bit more. All of the things that were coming from Artemis are about our good. Never has Artemis said, build a statue to me, build a church to me, worship me. Never has she been selfish, which is another way that we know that this comes from the light. So again, I'd like to say thank you. And as we go, we're going to cross the river of stars. And Jana, go ahead and go to the doorway, the beautiful doorway. And we'll go ahead and go through that doorway when you are ready, knowing you can come back whenever you want. And after we go through the doorway, go ahead and lift up the pyramid and let those helpers go. That was Jesus, Raphael, and Michael. And of course, we're going to thank them. Let them know how much we appreciate their help today. In the case of viewers, this might be, grandpa and your teacher and whoever it is. You do not need to have the most excellent assistance in this. All you need is someone that loves you, right? Ideally, someone who has already passed, so they are familiar with the other side. There is no hierarchy of love, right? That is, all of us can engage in it. If your great-grandfather shows up with love, that's just perfect. So don't feel you need to have incredible spiritual masters like these. But I am spending a process and thanking each one of them. I'm very moved that they showed up today. All right. And as we lift up the pyramid, we're just going to lift up the tall one. And I'm just going to say, Jenna, you just keep the crystal one. Nothing wrong with having that there to sort of keep you balanced and calm. The one that I release up top, it's always kind of there. You're always kind of in that space, but we do want to have a sort of opening and closing. And the closing allows them to go about their business. You can imagine these fellows are very busy, right? We want to just demarcate that time when we're doing spiritual work and when you're just doing normal stuff and driving a car, because there are different times and different times for different kinds of energies. Yeah. So have you lifted up your pyramid?
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
How you feeling?
Oh, just so grateful and thankful and hopeful.
Yeah, me too.
Hopeful.
I feel so much more optimistic having talked to. This is one of the things that I just love so much about this work. It's like I really couldn't say what Artemis said. There are some feelings like that, but I couldn't have said it like that, And I just find always, these guys are always teaching me every single time I go in with a client. They're just, things are just said in such a particular way. And it's not just all pablum and stuff. It's really, really serious stuff. But there's
Yes.
always hope. there is always love there, and
Yes.
just the fact that they all show up to help us is love, isn't it? I just,
Isn't it?
yeah.
It's so sometimes we feel like, "Oh, I don't deserve that," or, "Oh, this,"
Yeah.
or, "It's just my imagination," or what.
Uh,
It's not, it's true, it's real,
uh,
and it's an honor, and, oh gosh, I just feel so grateful to you to, um, allow me this time to come with you. You're such a marvelous
mm,
teacher,
mm,
um, and guiding. I felt so safe with you there and asking the questions and guiding me in what maybe we needed to look at. And I had such a connection. You were so open there that I could, like, almost knowingly anticipate what you were going to say next and then
mm, mm,
answer it. It
mm.
was just, that was such a wonderful experience.
Mm.
You're very amazing at this. It's
You're making me blush.
because, oh no, because you are coming from your heart totally. It comes across all the way from Australia to Colorado Springs.
Okay.
You know?
Well, Jen, I have to say, like, I mean, I'm just as impressed now as I was before. That was just beautiful work. We could have gone on for hours,
Oh,
but I think we might make it a nice little capsule because
okay.
we do want people to learn how to do this on their own, as well as hear your
Absolutely.
wisdom. And I'll just tell everybody, Jen is really, really good. All of us have the potential to be really good, but
Absolutely.
Jan is really, really good. And I'm going to leave her email here if you would like to email her. She can also give sessions. I would
Oh, thank you.
not hesitate. I'm only as good as you guys. Okay. I'm only as good as you guys. You guys are all my teachers, and I mean every viewer, right? I
Yeah.
mean everyone. You really are my teacher.
Aren't they marvelous, the
Yeah.
people that
Yeah.
watch? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, and every
Every
student just
student,
got so much to
a
offer. So
miraculous being in and of
really,
themselves. And
mhm,
it's wonderful, the community that you're building here of
mhm.
some really fine, fine, beautiful souls.
Yeah. Now again, I'm going to say that community was largely built. There were some marvelous people who came before me, but I will say
Yes.
thank you. Insofar as I'm able to do work, I love this job. I just love it, and I really like working with people like Jana and all y'all. So thanks so much for watching.
Oh, thank you also for watching. Namaste and love you.
Good. I'll leave Jana's email right under this video. Don't hesitate to contact her. Thanks, everyone.